Okay, we are live, Broncos country, but you guys know the drill by now. We've got to let the stream breathe for just a second here and make sure that everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. Welcome in, Broncos country, to this Denver Broncos Syndicate live stream. I am your host, Gage Madrid. Let's go ahead and get a few people to start streaming on in here. While we do that, if you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this stream, as well as subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. I would really appreciate it if you want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow. The link is in the description below. All right, guys, the Denver Broncos, were they or were they not interested in veteran wide receiver Brandin Cooks? It feels like every time a former New Orleans Saints player becomes available, they get linked to the Denver Broncos. Brandin Cooks had two separate tours of duty with the New Orleans Saints, one with Sean Payton and one without Sean Payton. That first tenure with the Saints did not end well. Brandin Cooks was due for a payday, and Sean Payton decided to trade him away to the New England Patriots. Cooks only spent one season in New England, who didn't pay him either, and then he kind of bounced around a couple of teams after that, including the Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. I wonder deep down if the relationship between Cooks and Sean Payton was still positive. We've got Dylan Earl in the house. Good to see you, Dylan. Hope you are doing well. So I always wondered if there really was going to be interest from Brandin Cooks to come to the Denver Broncos. Notice how he opted to return to New Orleans after Sean Payton and almost every single coach from the previous regime were gone. So I want to go ahead and bring in this tweet here. No, not that one. Let's go with that one. There we go. So the Buffalo Bills ended up being the team that signed Brandin Cooks. So he did not obviously sign with the Denver Broncos. And bringing in this tweet here from Chris Thomason, he tweeted this out last night during Monday Night Football. Source said the Broncos are not in the mix to sign Brandin Cooks, who cleared waivers yesterday. He did indeed sign with Buffalo. And then looking at this here from Alberto Milan, I didn't find a tweet out there that confirmed this from Albright, so I'm assuming that he said this on his radio show. I was just assuming this was the case, but Albright seemingly confirmed it. Brandin Cooks and Sean Payton weren't on friendly terms, so even if the Broncos were interested, it wasn't going to happen for those reasons. So Brandin Cooks, it never made sense for the Denver Broncos from the get-go, just because of his age and just because of the fact that he and Sean Payton kind of split on negative terms. So I don't believe that the Denver Broncos were ever going to be interested in Brandin Cooks, and this seemingly confirmed it. If Denver's going to add another position in this season before we get to the offseason, I believe it's probably going to be running back. They were rumored to be heavily interested in Dameon Pierce. They wanted to sign him to their practice squad. Instead, Pierce decided to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad. So if there is a position that the Denver Broncos are going to go after, I believe it's going to be running back. We've got Ronnie saying, good evening, how are you tonight? Doing well, Ronnie, how are you? We got KB saying, too bad Michael Thomas isn't a viable option. It sucks how his career ended up. Yeah. Injuries are brutal, man. They can take away from even the best careers in the NFL, and that's what happened with Michael Thomas. He was never the same after that ankle injury. We've got Michael Ronquillo in the house, one of our channel members. Good to see you, Michael. Hope you are doing well. So, yeah, Broncos country, the wide receiver position, the Broncos were rumored to be interested in Jalen Waddle as well, so they were at least looking at wide receivers, but I don't think there's going to be a viable option for them to add at this point in the season. They already did make a move at that position. They signed little Jordan Humphrey. They brought him back to be a blocking and over-the-middle threat at receiver. So I think that is the most extent of the move they're going to make at the wide receiver position. Do you think the Cowboys could beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday? I mean, it's very possible if they play like they did on last Sunday against the Eagles, but that's going to be a tough challenge for them, man. The Kansas City Chiefs, I don't know if the league wants them to slip back to 500. They certainly don't want them to slip below 500. So I think they're going to have to play both against the Chiefs and the refs, and I don't see them overcoming both of those challenges. Julian says, we need the Chiefs to lose. Can't allow them to be a wild card. If they get wild card, they can win it all. I disagree with that. The Denver Broncos have already proven they're a better team than the Chiefs. I'm not scared of the Chiefs whatsoever. All I'm focused on right now is trying to get the number 1 seed. I did get a new chair, Cairo, so I am not standing. Who you got in the Colts game? They play the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Hold on, let me double check. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. Who do they play this week? Oh, they play the Texans. Ooh, that is going to be a really tough matchup, right? The Texans defense, they've been playing some really good football. Their offense has been playing well, even with Davis Mills. And I want to say CJ Stroud should be back. That's going to be a really, really tough one. I am probably going to go with the Colts just because of how well they've been playing, but they kind of crapped the bed in the fourth quarter in Kansas City. So it is definitely a tough call, in my opinion. Any update on PS2 and Alex Singleton playing against the Washington Commanders? They are both in line to go. Alex Singleton, I guess he appeared on Good Morning America this morning and kind of talked about his diagnosis a little bit. And Mike Kliss reported earlier today that he is expected back out at practice. And this game has always been the return timeline for Pat Surtain. So I do believe both of those guys are going to play in this game. What about Jamal Williams? He used to be a touchdown machine. I mean, just as a pure red zone threat, maybe, but he hasn't really stuck on a team for the last couple of years. So I don't know if Jamal Williams would be a viable option at this point in time. So what are they going to do about the running back position? I don't know. According to Benjamin Albright, they want a running back who they can add to their practice squad as opposed to their 53-man roster. So that takes away running backs who are currently on practice squads with other teams such as Dameon Pierce or Cam Akers. Zach Moss is available. Maybe they go out and sign him. I've talked about Damian Martinez a couple of times on this channel, the former University of Miami running back. He started off with the Seattle Seahawks. He was briefly on their practice squad to start the regular season. Ended up getting cut. Hasn't really stuck on a team ever since. Nobody's given him an opportunity since, actually. So I don't know if there's some off-the-field issues there. I kind of heard some rumblings about that. So I don't know if he's going to be a viable option. It's really tough right now to make an addition that's going to make a big difference at this point in the season now that we're past the trade deadline. I wish I had your confidence. I'd rather play Indy in Indy than face the Chiefs at Denver. You see, I disagree with that. The Broncos are a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think they're a better team than the Colts, too. They just happen to lose to the Colts thanks to a leverage penalty. I don't know if there's a team out there that is truly better than the Denver Broncos. I want them to have home field advantage because I want that mile-high crowd to be against whoever the opponent is. If you're not afraid of the Chiefs, you just don't get it. I'm not afraid of the Chiefs. I am not afraid of Patrick Mahomes. I am not afraid of their defense. I am not afraid of the Chiefs. The Denver Broncos are the better football team, and I am not afraid to say that out loud. Need the Texans to win and the Jags to win to keep KC out of the running for the playoffs. You see, the only reason why I don't want Kansas City in the playoffs is because I don't want their annoying fan base to be able to think that they have a chance. I want the Kansas City Chiefs to be dead before the playoffs start just so their fan base has to suffer. It's pure old-fashioned AFC West hatred. I have no concern about the Denver Broncos being able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. That might come back to bite me later on, but I have no concern whatsoever about the Denver Broncos' ability to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, and that is on the record. You can quote me there. Don't the Broncos have A.T. Perry that has been on the practice squad for the past 2 seasons? Yes, he has, and clearly he has not done enough in that point in time, or during all this time, in order to get onto the 53-man roster. So I don't think that the Denver Broncos are going to play him. They would have already done so. I mean, he's a bigger bodied wide receiver, which is where Denver kind of needed some help. They needed a threat over the middle of the field, and I thought A.T. Perry was able to do some of that stuff too. Clearly, the Denver Broncos don't feel the same way. They like him as practice squad depth, but that's about it. Julian says, hope you're right. I'm confident in this team. They've played some good football, and they've shown that they can overcome almost every challenge. They've shown that they can overcome digging themselves into a hole early in the game. They've shown that they can overcome bad officiating. This team can overcome the Kansas City Chiefs. I truly don't view the Chiefs as a threat. There is one team in the AFC I am a little bit scared of if they catch fire, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens at full health terrify me because there's no way to effectively defend both Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They've got an elite passing game, and they've got an elite running game whenever Lamar Jackson is healthy. That team scares me. Buffalo has shown signs of weakness. Kansas City has shown signs of weakness. Indianapolis has shown signs of weakness. And I believe New England will show signs of weakness as we get later on in the season. I am confident that the Denver Broncos are better than almost every other team in the AFC, including the Kansas City Chiefs. I hope no one gets hurt in Washington, given how that field eats knees. Yeah, that's always a big concern. FedEx Field, or I guess it's now called Northwest Stadium or something like that. I'm always going to call it FedEx Field. That has claimed the knees and ankles and ligaments and bones of many players in the NFL. So obviously the Denver Broncos, priority number one in that game is going to be get out of there healthy. Von Miller gets to play against the Broncos with the Washington Commanders. Yep, we'll talk about that throughout the week. It's the third time that we've played against Von Miller since trading him away, so it's not going to have as much luster than the first couple of times, but still, we are facing off against arguably the best defensive player in franchise history, our sack leader in terms of our franchise. So, yeah, it's always going to be emotional. It's going to be good to see Von, and hopefully we come away with the dub. All right, Broncos country, we're going to go ahead and wind down this little short stream here. Be sure to leave a like as well as subscribe. I would really appreciate it. They're both free and easy ways to show your support. And if you want to go above and beyond and supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. The link is in the description below if you want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel. All right, guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out. Yes, Cairo. See you later on the MHRT pod. 7 o'clock. It's going to be on the MHRT Network YouTube channel, not here on Broncos Syndicate. Obviously, I do that every Tuesday if you guys don't know. So please come and join me there. All right, guys. Peace out.